Hey everybody, it's Jillian. So I wanted to redo this video because I was a little emotional like an hour ago, and it's something that I needed to get out and process and didn't have the ability to do that. So when I don't have the ability to process and get the information out, I turn to my community. And you're going to see the raw version of whatever is going on, okay? But I want to here's the thing. Here's what precipitated the whole thing with the whole table salt is not poisonous. We're heading into a major aggressive environment, and we have a major aggressive virus in the environment that is going to be taking people down. And so what prompted me to change the salt and understand about the difference between table salt and pink salt and Celtic salt and sea salt is the fact that if there was an interruption in global trade, that we couldn't rely on the pink salt, so we had to find something local here at home to depend upon. And then I'm thinking, hold on a second. Sodium chloride is what everyone's afraid of. Sodium chloride is what people think is poison. And then I remembered when I first started doing the protocol, and I had the original recipe to be 1 teaspoon of salt versus 1 tablespoon, the people weren't getting the benefits. They weren't getting the healing symptoms. Like this chick that is not part of the protocol anymore, has had cancer back then and was under the original recipe of the 1 teaspoon of salt, not the 1 tablespoon. And she kept complaining to me saying, why is it that everyone else is getting waterfalls and getting healing, but I'm not seeing any difference? Well, I made a typo. Instead of saying 1 teaspoon, I said 1 tablespoon. And then people started they started getting the healing symptoms. They started getting the waterfalls. They started getting all these benefits. And so we made the correlation equals causation, that when you up the amount of salt, the pink salt or the Celtic salt back then, that it was the difference. And then I got influenced by somebody in my world that wanted me to use the Baja Sea of Cortez salt. And there were people using the Celtic salt. And everyone is all concerned about the minerals. Oh, you have to have the mineral salt. Then you get into the Santos Bonacci world where it's all the cell salts. And so the whole marketing thing was the pink salt, the cell salts, the Celtic sea salts, the Baja Sea of Cortez salt. And so then you're losing sight of what actually you're after. You're after the sodium chloride, which everyone is so afraid of because of the high blood pressure, because salt is an energizing force. That's why the medical community doesn't want people using table salt or too much of it, because it's going to energize their predispositions. People don't want to heal. They don't want to feel pain. And so if you have a heart issue or a high blood pressure issue, salt, sodium, is going to energize that which you have that needs to heal. And if you have enough minerals and nutrients in your body, you take in the salt is going to heal, but then they start experiencing high blood pressure, which means the body's trying to heal the cardiovascular system and the circulatory system, and the person doesn't want to experience that. And so, yeah, when you do have high blood pressure and you have a weak heart and you don't have enough minerals, people could die, right? If you don't have enough minerals or nutrients. So that's where the fear of the salt comes from, is because people are coming into a world where they don't have enough of what it takes to actually heal. So when you get an energizing force, such as a person coming at you and expending energy and you're reacting, the stress, as well as the salt, which is a stress to someone that doesn't have enough, it's going to tax them and make them utilize something they may not have. And then people could die from heart failure. Okay. But the thing with the J juice is that you have the micro and macro nutrition from the cabbage and the kale. You have the probiotics, you have the salt as the electrolytes. Yeah, you have the minerals in the pink salt, but remember, you also have minerals in the tap water, minerals in the cabbage and kale, and your environment. So anyways, this whole thing with back in the beginning, I was so, lost in the trendy stuff. So I finally just settled on the pink Himalayan salt, because the pink Himalayan salt was the easiest to sell to people as far as just buying into the whole salt protocol with the chili juice. And people were satisfied with that. But here's the thing. When you have minerals, okay, when you're buying pink salt, you're buying the minerals and you're buying the sodium chloride, okay? So when you're buying the minerals and sodium chloride, you're paying more. And then in the beginning, we were all about, oh, distilling the water. So you're taking minerals out of your water through distillation, only to then put them back in with the pink salt, which then you're paying for distillation or distilled water, and you're paying for minerals in the pink salt. So essentially you're paying twice for something that you can actually get naturally in the water, the tap water that you're already paying for anyways. Okay, you're going to get minerals in the cabbage and kale that's been fermented down to a pre-digested state. Okay, and then you're also getting minerals in your environment from the food supply. So not only minerals, but you're also getting the nutrients, the electrolytes. You're getting all these different things in the food supply. Okay, so this whole novel coronavirus has then evolved me to the next level, because the pink Himalayan salt is another marketing thing. Okay, people are afraid of chemicals, or afraid of things that are processed, but chemicals are just minerals. That's all chemicals are. They're just minerals. Sodium is a chemical. Sodium chloride is a compound element. It's a chemical. Okay? So when someone says they're afraid of chemicals, you're afraid of minerals. Okay? So then I'm like, okay, they're taking the pink Himalayan salt with the J juice. It still gets the 13 million colony forming units. But what would happen? What would happen if you took pure sodium chloride? Pure sodium chloride, which is basically the table salt with maybe an anti-caking agent, which is minerals. Yeah, it's ferrocyanide, but it's just a mineral. It's like 1%, was it Prussian yellow soda or something? That's what the additive is. You know, when I get this food grade salt from the storefront that sells rock salt and salt for water softeners, as well as restaurant use salt. And so all that is just minerals. But instead of paying $200 for, like, you know, a 50-pound bag, or $300, now you're going to pay $7.25 for what you actually are looking for to begin with. The sodium chloride, which is a compound element, is the electrolyte. It's the energizing force. It's what basically electrifies your body to get everything to heal. And what it's paired with is what's the difference. Okay? So when you're taking something like pink Himalayan salt, or sea salt, or Celtic salt, or black salt, or yellow salt, and pink salt, and all that stuff, now it's being inhibited by all these minerals that you're going to get anyways in the water. You're going to get anyways in the cabbage and the kale when it's fermented down. You're going to get anyways in your environment, from the chemtrails, from the contrails, from the exhaust, from the aluminum, the Teflon, you know, anything in your environment, the radiation. So now you're going to get a pure form of energy in the table salt with iodine, which your body, here's the thing with people are like, oh, it's so poisonous, so this and so that. When you're doing the J juice, you're actually taking the salt and you're matching it with the cabbage and kale. And there's an actual synergistic chemistry process that is called fermentation. Somebody pointed out to me, Amkari. I had this transmission earlier that I redid because I was a little emotional. But she said, yeah, the Koreans, when they make their kimchi, which we're not doing kimchi, but when they make their kimchi, they're using rock salt. And then when they go and pickle something, they use kosher salt. They don't use pink salt. They don't use black salt. They don't use yellow salt. They use kosher white salt, or they use rock salt. Holy crap. Oh my God. So now with the pure energy form of the sodium chloride, with that 1% additive, because remember, it's all about ratios. If it was like, you know, 90%, 90% ferrocyanide and 1% sodium, that would be poisonous. No different than if it was like like 90% fluoride and 1% sodium. But no, it's 99% sodium chloride and 1% ferrocyanide, which is the anti-caking agent. It's minerals that you're going to be exposed to and you need anyways. Remember, you are the universe, but your body has a specific balance, and it has bacteria in it. It has fatty acid, it has amino acid, it has prohormones, and it has minerals. And then when you put everything together with the jelly juice and with the fermentation, it's going to be saltier, yes, because now you have more of an energizing force. I think the reason why people liked using the pink salt for fermentation and stuff was the fact for taste, because it's not as salty. It tastes good. But just because something tastes good doesn't mean it's good for you. Imagine now if you were to take the white salt, the table salt, with that anti-caking agent in it and used it with the jelly juice. It's going to be salty as hell. But imagine the healing process, because you're going to have healing symptoms. You know, the reason why the kale is so tastes so salty, and it tastes and it makes you waterfall a lot faster, which is basically the body getting rid of what it doesn't need. It's the fact that there isn't a lot of substance, a lot of fiber. I mean, the kale is very, very cruciferous and very nutritious, but there isn't much to it. So when you're using the pink salt with the kale, it still tastes a bit saltier. But imagine how much more saltier it's going to taste when you're using the white table salt with no other minerals to impede the energy. See, when you have all, when the person has heavy metal toxicity, they don't have enough electrolytes to go and push everything out. So imagine if you got rid of the heavy weights, the heavy metals, okay, which is no big deal. You need trace minerals. But if you're already getting trace minerals in the food supply, in the air, and the water, and everything else, and then you're compounding it within the mineral salts, now the body has to work harder to release the excess minerals and get to the salt to then energize your immune system and energize the nutrients in the cabbage and kale to then fix the weaknesses, regenerate cells, and then reverse the aging process, and then get the mucus out, okay? Because now we have this novel coronavirus that is completely destructive, and it's going to take a person down that has predispositions. So now you need an amazing energizing force to help those that have those types of predispositions. Why mess around with the pink salt and have that extra middleman, which is the minerals in the pink salt? Why not get straight to the freaking source, straight from the horse's mouth, which is the white salt? Because Amkari made a very, very great observation. The Koreans use straight rock salt, and they use kosher salt for pickling as well as for fermentation for kimchi. Well, they go straight to the source. They're not messing around with the middleman. And then you're paying more on top of that. That's why we don't do distillation. That's why you can use tap water. So now you can use tap water. There's nothing poisonous in this world. You can use tap water. You can use the table salt, the kosher table salt, Morton's. You can use GMO and conventional vegetables. Do not pay for organic. There is a specific diet on the Jelly Juice protocol to make you understand that certain foods represent imbalances. So we are staying away from major spices and things that will cause more imbalances in the body, because you have to heal, you have to release the excess. In the beginning of the JJ's protocol, you're staying off of red meat, but we have chicken, because red meat, for someone that has major imbalances and bowel blockages and just full of poop and they don't even know, okay, they need to make it easy on the body to take in a very, very strategic type of drink that is going to clean them out and heal and seal their Silk Road. You know what Silk Road is? It's a trade route. This is your Silk Road. The mouth, the saliva, the pharynx, digestive, nasopharynx, the oropharynx, the laryngopharynx, the esophagus, the stomach, the liver, the gallbladder, the pancreas, the small intestine, the large intestine. You have to get these healed, and you need the nutrition in the cabbage and kale, and you need the pure energy from the sodium chloride that is not being mitigated and impeded by the extra minerals in that salt, because you're going to get the minerals in your food supply, in your environment. I'm telling you, this is an aggressive environment out there. There is pollution. That's only pollution on bodies that have imbalances. Really now all it is just minerals. I have no fear. I don't have to worry about wearing a mask. I can go and touch people's hands and not worry about somebody taking me down with their germs. But now I have to worry about me being so strong to take somebody else down with my antibodies because they may be weaker than me. So, you know, the strong are going to overtake the weak. All right. So now we're getting really straight to the point here. Okay. So table salt is just pure sodium chloride. It's an actual electrolyte. I've been peeling back the layers of programming. I mean, I came from the holistic world trying to heal my own shit, my own weaknesses. And I had to peel back every layer, every layer, every layer. And then this whole novel coronavirus just woke my ass up to the next level of evolution. And that's what I see for all of you is the next level of evolution. But some of you are just starting. So this was hard to roll out when all of you have been trained by me to then only like the pink salt for then me to change it up. Okay. And some had difficulty with it. You know, the thing with the J juice is you're going to be changing your perspective on a continuous basis until you break everything down to its most elementary state. And that's no different in your work world, in your love life, in your marriage, with your kids, with your own body, with the food, with society. You will break everything down to its most infinitesimal cellular level, and then you will build it back up based upon life, not death. Okay? And so paying $7.25 US dollars for a 50-pound bag of pure sodium chloride and 1% ferrocyanide is far better than paying $20 for a 5-pound bag of freaking pink Himalayan salt that has 86 trace minerals, which means I'm not getting enough sodium out of that. And I'm already getting minerals in the food supply. I'm already getting minerals in my tap water. I'm already getting minerals in the air that I breathe, the food that I eat. So I'm essentially paying twice. And some of you are distilling your water. Some of you are using the pink salt and using organic, and you're paying a shit ton. And you don't need to. You don't need to pay twice. You don't need to over mineralize yourself. Okay? And so the whole point of J juice is to make this as most simplistic as possible. Okay? The most simplistic as possible. And the salt crystals absorb the energy. So the J juice has a life energy. So those salt crystals, when it's finally going through its fermentation, it's going to take on the life of the lactobacillus that's being grown in there, as well as being paired with the cabbage and kale and the water. And it's going to work for you. It's going to create life. It creates the bacteria. And then you're going to drink it. And then it's going to work with your body to create more life and to filter out the excess antibodies, the excess jetsam and flotsam. And it's going to regenerate your cells at a faster rate because now you're getting to the root of the matter. You're not wading through all these minerals that are in the pink salt. You see, there is a huge marketing thing out there as far as salt and the energy world and processing and natural versus synthetic. And here's the thing, everything is natural. Everything. Even the vaccines are natural. Okay? And so it's how your body responds to it will be whether it's bad or good. Well, why would your body respond to something that's FDA approved badly? Because you have imbalances. And also maybe you're adapting. Okay, me being healed and sealed for the most part, and then being exposed to some aggressive virus in the environment that I have a sneaking suspicion it was the coronavirus, come out of nowhere and put me into a major mucus. I wasn't sick, but my body was adapting to the changes in the environment to where I was actually blowing my nose and coughing for 18 to 24 hours, but no headache, no lack of sleep, no real issue. It's just the fact that my body was able to be strong enough to purge out the excess bacteria. My body was already guarded against this aggressive pathogen, which was the virus. And actually, it elevated me to the next level of evolution. So when someone is healed and sealed, this is what you guys have to look for. When you're healed and sealed and you still live in a world full of people who are still sick with viruses and things, and new viruses are coming about because of animals and whatever, and you're healed and sealed and you want to get another data upload, go hang out in your local hospital and eat the cafeteria food and shake hands with everybody and then lick your hands. I'm kidding. But that's essentially what you won't be afraid to be around people who have weaknesses, but they're going to be afraid of you because you're so strong. And yeah, you have antibodies. You have, that's what people say, like, wash your hands all the time and cover your mouth when you cough and wash your hands after you go to the bathroom, because every single time you touch your face or you touch your mouth or you put your finger in your ear and all that stuff, you're bringing up DNA that holds viruses that a person who is very weak could then succumb to. Okay? But now you being so strong, you be the one to dictate how everyone's going to be around you. And either they measure up or they don't. Because no matter what, the strong will swallow up the weak. And I want you all to be strong, but you can't let intermediaries get in the way. So the minerals in the pink Himalayan salt were getting in the way of the actual energizing force, which is the sodium chloride. So we have been snowed by the holistic industry in so many different ways. The fear of the elements, fear of fluoride, the fear of tap water, the fear of bacteria, the fear of medicine, the fear of all these things, when essentially you have access to the most basic elements in the world and the nutrients to rebuild your body. And you don't even know it because somebody wants to make a buck off of you. Someone wants you to be afraid of the salt. Someone wants you to be afraid of the fluoride, the tap water, the this, the that, and then they have their hands in your freaking pockets. So I've simplified this even further, which I didn't even think was possible. But I have simplified this protocol to now its most basic form, and I can justify it. So I want all of you, now here's the thing with the pink salt and the Celtic salt and the sea salt and the black salt and the white, taste is what people are, that's their determining factor of what it is they buy and why they buy it. So when someone said, oh, well, I was doing the J juice and I used the pink salt versus the white salt, but the pink salt tastes better than the white salt. The white salt's just too salty. Oh, and I just feel all this weird stuff and everything, and this is in the beginning, right? So they're like, oh, I use that and I'm going to throw it away. It has a white salt. And they use the pink salt. Oh, it's so much better. Well, remember, the J juice doesn't taste good anyways. But the saltier it is, even with the 1 tablespoon, the saltier it is, the more energizing. And remember, if you get thirsty, you drink water. You don't need to cut down the ratios of salt. You just drink water. So now you're getting a pure form of sodium chloride in 1 tablespoon. It's going to energize your fermentation, okay? And it's also going to energize your healing process, which means you're going to have healing symptoms probably come on faster. You might have waterfalls come on faster, okay? So I'm making this as easy and as fast as possible for people who have major predispositions, because now we're entering into a more aggressive environment with this novel coronavirus that you cannot diminish. Some of you want to diminish it because you don't want to face the fact that maybe there's people in your world that are not going to be able to measure up to it. But there's a reason why. There's a reason why the universe told me to really take a look at, holy crap, can we depend upon global commerce? See, the thing is with the universe, it doesn't tell me like in so many words, okay, well, you should be switching from pink salt to white salt. No, it has me go through a process. It has me go through a process. And then I started thinking about it. And then I have enough information on the internet to then substantiate through science, substantiated science. And then it makes all the sense in the world, because yeah, that's why we stopped distilling the water. That's why we were using tap water. That's why we're not using organic food, okay? There's no freaking difference. And so yes, Gemma, we are stepping it up a level because we have to. Look how aggressive this environment's becoming. I have people in my life right now that are dropping like flies, okay? Because of how aggressive the environment is. So now we're going to get rid of the middleman, which is all those minerals in the pink salt, and go straight to freaking table salt, iodized table salt, okay, with the anti-caking agent. And yeah, it's going to be very salty. And yeah, you're going to be thirsty. You drink water. But I'll tell you, it's going to be more energetic. Because I know when I use more salt than 1 tablespoon, it's definitely saltier. Because I have done heaping tablespoons, not just level tablespoons. I've used heaping tablespoons. I'm like, oh my God, it's so salty. And then when I'm thirsty, I drink water. But I noticed the difference in the energizing force. I noticed the difference. And so if I notice the difference of having more salt than the 1 tablespoon, because I don't really measure my tablespoons. They are heaping. I'm just thinking what I do is I just go and I dip my big old spoon in there and dump it in, and then put the water in, put the cabbage in, the kale, whatever, put it in the blender, and I just do it. And I just, because I know what happens is that when I actually drink it, I will drink water when I'm thirsty. But it is far saltier, but it's highly energized. And then you can, the saltier things are, especially with the drink, that's why people do the saltwater flushes, because it cleans them out, right? But we're not doing a saltwater flush. This actually is a biochemical, or this is a chemical process with cabbage and kale and fermentation and all of that. So now you're getting not only the salt, the energizing force, but you're also getting the probiotics and the micro and macronutrition that has been pre-digested down. It's been fermented down to a pre-digested state. So now it's for easier absorption, and you have semi-permeable cells that will then take in this and fix all the different issues, and you're going to turn on your electrified fence for the protection. Because some of you have turned off the electricity on your electrified fence in an aggressive environment, and you're going to be left open. Okay? So now we're stepping it up a notch because the environment is stepped up a notch. And you're right, Gemma. We, as Jilly Juicers, have to adapt to the new environment. This is an adaptation type of protocol. That's what the Jilly Juice is all about, is adaptation. Can you step it up? Because maybe the pink Himalayan salt was great in a non-aggressive environment, but now we have a more of aggressive environment. Now we need to graduate from the pink salt into the sodium chloride and the anti-caking agent, and we'll get our minerals in the air and the water and the food. And now it's going to be more of an energizing force to then speed up the healing, get people healing faster, especially in this aggressive environment. Remember, the saltier the things are, the more energy. Because, yeah, you're like, ooh, when something's really, really salty, you're like, ooh, so that's the energy. It makes you react. When something is so sweet, when I put too much sugar in my husband's, because he still puts sugar in his coffee, he's like, oh my God, this is just like, this is just too sweet. But you see the energy that comes out of him. If I will put a little bit of sugar, he'd be like, oh, I don't really taste anything. See, so sugar and salt are energy sources. And then the body needs a balance of both. And so that's why, when your body says drink water because you're thirsty, or when I eat something sweet, then I want something salty to offset that, to counterbalance it. Your body is going to balance everything. And you will still be able to ferment, because remember, the Koreans use kosher salt and rock salt to make kimchi, but we're not making kimchi. And they also use the kosher salt, the white salt, for pickling. Okay? And so we get lost in the marketing and the trendy stuff and the holistic world, and I understand that because this is what we've been raised with, but now we're peeling back the layers. And it's so freaking exciting because it's really matching with the current state of affairs, because we have to step it up a notch. I don't see enough of you guys healing. I don't hear a lot of stories of you guys healing because it may be because of the pink salt. Okay? Maybe we change it from the pink salt to the freaking table salt, and I might see more stories from you guys. I see some, but I think I should be seeing a lot more, right? I mean, people are getting benefit, but maybe we need to change salt. We might see more benefit faster. So, so there you go. Okay. So anyways, you get me in all my raw forms. I'm a very expressive, communicative person, and I have my ideas. I don't always explain them all like completely very well. It may take somebody challenging me to really get where I'm coming from out. And sometimes it has to happen that way, and it sucks. But I hope the people that do challenge me, and that I challenge back, whatever, they are okay with this. And so that's the learning process. That is the creative process. You get great ideas from stimulation. Creativity comes from stimulation. It comes from energy. Okay? Because it's very easy to kind of stay in a rut, status quo, homeostasis, which is great. All right, Kevin. You know I love you. Kevin and I tell you what, one of these days, we're going to get together again, and we're going to be just looking back on these days and laughing. Okay? But yeah, we have to get to the next level. We really do. And I want all of you to get to the next level. Okay? But definitely on the next batch, absolutely. But I've done the white salt before. Okay? And it's very salty. I'm not going to lie, it's not going to taste good. If anything, it's going to taste worse than what you're doing now. Because what you have now is you have the minerals, you don't have as much salt, but it's still salty, but not as much. But I know when I put in more salt, yeah, when you do it with kale only, it's going to be totally, totally salty. It's going to be difficult to drink, but you got to do it. Okay? And then you drink water when you're thirsty. All right? But you want to get that energizing force. But I know when I've overshot my little tablespoons, it's really salty, but man, it works fast. Because I don't always stick to 1 tablespoon. Sometimes I do a tablespoon and a half. Because they're heaping tablespoons. They're not level. They're heaping. Okay? So I don't always keep to my ratios. I usually do more salt than less salt. Yes, life difficulties. Yeah, life difficulties. Me too. I'll tell you what. All this stuff with the coronavirus, man, I'm telling you, it has gotten me thinking. You can see that I'm looking disheveled. I don't look well coiffed like I used to, because I'm like going to bed. I'm at work with my husband because I know, he's feeling some symptoms and stuff. And I'm watching you guys on Facebook. Some of my friends are like falling ill, like really difficult ill. And I worry about my friends and family, I worry about a lot of people going on right now, and it's a little bit stressful. And so, yeah, this next level of evolution, it's difficult to jump. But I think, I can't, is there anything else that could that we need to evolve from? I don't know. I don't even want to ask. But we've hit it all. We've dealt with the cabbage and the kale. It doesn't have to be organic. We dealt with the water. It doesn't have to be distilled or filtered water. It can be tap water. We now dealt with the salt. It could be table salt. What else? I don't think that those are the only 3 ingredients. We already figured out the probiotic stuff. We already figured out the micro and macronutrition. Now you know that Silk Road is your alimentary canal. You have to fix this in order to get anything at all to where you can regrow your arms and legs if you're born without them or something, regrow your organs. But your alimentary canal has to be healed first before you see any kind of major healing. As far as, let's say you're missing a digit. If you don't get this figured out, then no, you're not going to regrow your finger or your arm or your leg or whatever else. You have to get it healed and sealed and salt, and you have to deal with the symptoms. And those that have heart issues and circulatory issues and lung issues and all that stuff, you're going to have to deal with the healing symptoms, and it's not going to be fun. And you will mix modern medicine and J juice until you can get off of modern medicine and feel comfortable. No one should ever get off of modern medicine until they and their doctor and themselves feel like it's appropriate. But jelly juice, all jelly juice is food. That's all it is. Very salty food, yes, but you'll drink water. But you need to turn your electric fence on. Some of you have turned off the security of your electric fence, and you're open for attack. Living the low salt diets is basically leaving you open and inert for attack. But people don't want to feel pain, which is basically healing. So then their doctors tell them, okay, here's a low sodium diet. And then it really makes them worse. And yeah, they'll have heart attacks and strokes. What do you say? I'm in my winter sleep like a teddy bear, maybe in the spring. Yeah. Hey, Kevin, however you want to do it. No, you have all the time in the world, my friend. And I'm telling you, out of all people that I fight with, I don't say I fight with them, but we have our arguments. I hate arguing with him because he is my right-hand man. He really is. And I want to give him a lot of credit in a lot of areas, and I do. But when it comes to the salt, I have to just really put my foot down. And I know Kevin gets it. It's just difficult, even for me. But I'm a bitch too. So I mean, I know that I can be a total bitch, and we don't have the luxury of being next to each other and talking to each other face to face. So having these kinds of working relationships where someone is like, 6,000 miles away, it's not easy. It really isn't. And so I give Kevin a lot of credit for dealing with me, because I'm not easy. I know that. And I'm sure I should get a lot of credit for dealing with him because he's a dude. Dudes think they know everything. Asian chicks think they know everything. Okay. Okay. But no matter what, here's the happy medium. If it's for taste, then you can mix the pink salt with the white salt. Okay? But have one where it's just the white salt, and have one where it's just the pink salt, and have one where there's a mixture of the two. And that way you can just kind of go back and forth. It's not going to hurt you to have the pink salt. But if you want to see the next level of healing, you want straight up sodium chloride. Because taste really was the issue. When something is that salty, that's why people are like, oh my God, 1 tablespoon. I like the 1 teaspoon. That was better. Yeah, it's not as salty, but we've been trained our whole life not to eat salty stuff. My parents never put the salt on the table. Never. They never put sugar on the table either. We had sugar-free cereal, salt-free stuff. You're eating sugar-free candies and having, a lot of diarrhea because all that sugar-free stuff. Okay. So, we've been trained our whole life not to accept salt as something that we need, and that sugar is a major staple. And that's what you're seeing in the holistic world. People are giving their kids honey. When someone on a thread, they were saying, oh yeah, NPR was saying this, oh yeah, give your kids honey if you want to deal with this coronavirus. And I'm like, no. And I actually copied and pasted Gemma's post about honey is for bees only. And people were like, oh my God. They were laughing at me, saying, you don't know anything. And I'm like, whatever. You've been warned. You guys have been trained to love the sweet stuff. And it's causing more acid, which is causing holes being punched in your gut from the candida and the fungus being overabundant, as well as acid eating away at your gut, punching holes, and you're not absorbing the nutrition. Okay, so so we have to have a balance of both, and I was deprived of both. I'm not saying that they completely eradicated sugar, but we had sugar-free cereals. Yeah, we got ice cream every so often. We had special treats. We had desserts, but sugar-free pudding, sugar-free this, sugar-free, sugar-free everything. Okay, so I completely understand the brainwashing out there, the peeling back the layers of programming. It is just a process, and it's hard. It's hard. Let me tell you, me even rolling it out, and I'm saying like viruses are not a death sentence, only on a weak body. People are wanting to attack me and rip me apart and call me this and call me that. Well, let me introduce something to you. Okay, so it's not easy, but remember, it takes pioneers to get people to get out of the rut. Okay, America wouldn't be America if it wasn't for the Pilgrims or the Spaniards or whoever used those first, for the Indians. Okay, so just hang in. I mean, when I really hold my ground on something, it means I know what's going on. I don't hold my ground on a lot of things, but there's certain things I hold my ground on. Other things I'm like, okay, whatever, it's not worth the fight. But if I pick a fight with someone and I hold my ground, and I don't care if it's the end of our relationship, because I know where I'm coming from, I got something. Just let me figure out how to tell you. Okay? That's just me. Believe me, I don't like to fight. I don't want to always be right. I don't want to always be right. But there's certain things I will not budge on because I know where I'm coming from. Okay? So if the 1 teaspoon wasn't enough healing, and then we go to 1 tablespoon of pink salt, and there's healing. Imagine going to 1 tablespoon of straight freaking sodium fluoride or chloride. Okay? Just straight salt, not even minerals. So going from 1 teaspoon of pink salt to 1 tablespoon of pink salt to 1 tablespoon of pure sodium chloride, that's the next level. You see the progression in that? And you don't have the middleman, which is all the minerals in the salt. Now you have the straight sodium chloride. So that's the peeling back the layers of programming. We're going to see faster healing. I already can predict it. So those of you that are having trouble with the waterfalls and the healing, I think it's going to change a little bit. It's not going to taste good. It's going to taste salty, but I think it's going to change a bit. Okay? But we needed something like the coronavirus, the novel coronavirus, to step it up, to get us out of our homeostasis, our rut. You know, people are healing, but it's not as fast as I want it. We need to step it up a notch, guys. So maybe we need to up the ante. All right? So I appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Kevin and I are like brother and sister. I do need him, no matter even if I say, oh, okay, I guess we're, no, I do need Kevin. I need him to understand. And I'll find every way possible to find a way to happy medium with him. I will. I want to make it work with him. We have to make it work. Okay? And so, because you guys got to see that it's okay that you can have a bit of a disagreement, or you don't agree with certain things, or you have your belief systems, but it doesn't need to be then the deciding factor of whether or not, no, there is a way to find a happy medium. So just try both, you guys. See what the healing process is on both. If you find the waterfalls are faster, as well as, which I'm going to find you are, because I know when I upped the salt, even now, and it's so salty, the waterfalls are pretty fast. Okay. Yeah, you guys will see the healing process take to the next level. Okay. So there's your next experiment, y'all. And I'm going to, finish out the rest of my pink salt, and I have 100 pounds of freaking white salt that I'm going to get through. Okay. So you guys are awesome. All in a day's work. All in a day's work. Okay. Happy Monday. Bye.